Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing tonight? I hope you are having a good Sunday night. These things are kind of fun. I've been enjoying them. Doing this little gear news hangout thing on Sunday nights. Instead of doing a pre-recorded thing, we're going to do it live. And that way we can kind of talk about this new gear and decide is it something you're going to buy? There will be links to all of this stuff, or most of it, some of it, actually. There's only a couple links, actually, now that I think about it. A lot of this stuff is not even available. And some of it is not necessarily an actual instrument, and it's just some news. So we're going to get into that as well. Before we get into all of that, I want to say that all of our live streams are ad-free. So if you want to support the live stream with a super chat or some sort of super thanks afterwards or sticker or whatever, or if you just want to subscribe and like and share this video with somebody else, because that's free and that does support the channel, and we do appreciate that very much. The other thing is you can go to Dylan Talks Tone and you can check out some stuff, which I'm going to show you in a minute. The other thing is we also have Patreon, patreon.com/Dylan Talks Tone, and the news there is we're going to have our monthly hangout tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So we do this on Zoom. Tomorrow morning, I'll send out a link to everybody that's at that level on Patreon and who's at that level on the YouTube member side of it as well. So you can be a YouTube member and do it too. And we're going to have a live hangout on Zoom. It's fun. Usually there's 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of us there, all hanging out, doing whatever. It's a kind of a smaller crowd, but it's in person with a camera on, and we can talk about whatever. Which is pretty fun. So you should dig that. Real quick, a couple of things I want to show you from this week's drop. I'm really, really stoked. So we have the Sustain Brothers Club hat in Admiral Camo. So this is, if you know, you know. If you understand the importance or lack thereof of Sustain, and if you tap test your guitars and you really know what's up, you're going to buy that. We've got a couple of Enduros. We've got a clear top one. We've got a translucent wood grain acrylic swirl, which is pretty sweet. And then this one is the one I'm putting in my guitar, or one like it. This is the Perloid Enduro. So we've got those out. And then the other thing I want to mention too is, if you look here, we've got some custom acrylic pick guards. And what we're doing is we're using the same material on some of the custom pickups, and we're actually cutting pick guards and we're cutting matching control plates, which is really cool. And we're able to sell these in a set. Okay. So you can get it with all the knobs and everything, and you can buy it with the pickups, everything. Like you can put a whole set in your guitar, or you can just buy a control plate by itself, or you can buy a pick guard by itself. So that's pretty sweet. And then because I am a kind of retro fanatic about things, this is the new Play Furiously t-shirt. So this is the Dylan Talks Tone in Japan t-shirt. And if you'll notice down there below, it says Dylan. I used Google Translator, so I don't know if it's right. So I'm just going to give you that caveat, but it's supposed to say Dylan Talks Tone in Japanese. So there you go. So pretty cool stuff. So I thought I'd share those things with you as well. And before we get into the gear news, looks like we have a super chat. Thank you so much, Dave. Dave says, ad-free is for me. I appreciate that very much. Hello, everyone in the comments. Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Okay. So, I want to talk first about, we'll get to the Mesa Boogie thing in a minute. Let's see. Where's it at? Okay, so the first thing I want to show you guys is this Blackstar 30E. There'll be links to all this in the description. Blackstar 30E, this is a 30-watt, 10-inch combo amp. It's going to be a solid-state thing, but it's only $200. And it looks cool, and it's a 10-inch speaker. It's probably going to be awesome for practicing around the house. A couple of the cool features are it's got that IPS or ISP or whatever it's called from Blackstar that has the, where you can kind of adjust the curve of what the amp sounds like from British to American. It's got that kind of thing. It's got a headphone out. It's got a speaker emulated out so you can record with it. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's 2-channel, got some delay in there and stuff. Only 3 left in stock, more on the way. They must be selling good. Here's the thing, man. You could say bad things about any of these little amps. People could say, well, this is not, or it doesn't sound like a whatever. You can like make up whatever, right? But the thing is, we all need these, right? In some form or fashion. We need some little practice amp. Everybody who's actually wanting to play on a daily basis is going to have one of these little amps, whether it's this one, and you might be a Blackstar person already. These little Blackstars sound good. Okay. I know people have talked about reliability and stuff, but they sound good. They do. And I haven't heard this obviously, but for what it is, it's going to be great. You're going to put it underneath like my little end table right there. I'm stuff it under the end table there and have a cable coming out and be able to play guitar. I think it's great. So these things are cool and they're $200. That to me is the thing that really matters. And then the next thing I want to show you is the Sterling by Music Man Cutlass CT20. This is their this is an entry level Sterling by Music Man. Obviously you can see it looks like a Cutlass. These are new. They're $200. This might be kind of an alternative to a Squire. If you're going to build something up, this might be kind of fun to do. Maple neck. Let's see, poplar body. So yeah, it's all the stuff. 5-bolt neck joint. Ooh, that's like sustain, bro. That's like all the sustain. I mean, if you have a 3-bolt neck, then there's some sustain. If you have a 4-bolt neck, then there's definitely some sustain. And if there's a 5-bolt neck, we're like sustaining. Okay. So, I mean, come on, man. Asymmetrical neck. That's pretty neat. That's machine time on a $200 guitar. I dig that. 12-inch radius. So a 12-inch fretboard radius, especially if you're getting into guitars for the first time, or if you're going to buy this as a gift for somebody, 12-inch fretboard radius is great. It's really easy. What do they say? What's the word? It's perfectly cromulent. Like it's not an extreme from one end to the other. It's not a 7 1/4. It's not a 16. And it's just a great easy guitar to play. 25.5-inch scale. So we're kind of looking Fender-y here. My guess is the pickups are going to be cheap guitar pickups, right? I don't know what the quality is going to be like. Who knows? House-made electronics, which means they're just sourcing some stuff from China and checking it in there. But for $200, man, that's a pretty neat dude. I dig this a lot. I dig this a lot. So there's that thing. Got links to those in the description, so figure I'll share that with you. Let's see what anybody else has to say. Bring on the 9-bolt neck. Okay, so for those of you that follow me on Instagram and Facebook, I shared a picture of some bolt-on neck, and somebody had drilled a bunch of holes in it. Like they were going to put all these screws in it, and I'm like, oh, that's all the sustain. Yeah, wow. Anyway, I almost bought one of these, but I went with an ASAT Blues Boy Classic. Another perfectly good alternative at that price point. I dig that a lot. Blackstar are junk. So, again, you could probably choose to make a more positive contribution to the guitar playing community. Those amps, it's a $200 amp, okay? And the way that amp is supposed to be used is just to practice around the house. It says right on it, practice, right? That's what it's for. You're not gigging with it. It doesn't have to be the most durable thing in the world. It's a solid state amp with almost no power, 30 watts. So it's not going to get hot. So it'll never really blow up. What kills electronics is heat. Okay. So if you put tube amps together incorrectly, and you have all this heat in there, and you have circuit boards that aren't reinforced correctly, and it's not done right, then yes, you can have some unreliability issues. And I think that's a lot of where the Blackstar unreliability kind of, talk comes from. But on a little thing like this, you're not going to have any issue. It'll be fine. It'll be a great little guitar, great little amp. Okay, so there's a couple other things. We're going to get to this Mesa thing in a minute. I want to discuss briefly something that's very weird to me. According to Fender, it's more important than ever that the music making community has access to affordable musical instruments. So, Fender has launched its first CPO program on Reverb. So these will be, these are certified pre-owned. So like if you go buy a Lexus, certified pre-owned, right? And what it basically is, same thing with cars, is apparently a professional of some sort, we don't know what those credentials are, will look over this guitar and say, this is a good guitar, it's all there, it probably is fine, and now it's probably going to be worth more, or we're going to charge more for it because that is that. To kind of put some Fender-backed quality into the used market. This is an interesting one for me because I don't quite understand the need for this. They will come with a 1-year limited warranty. Okay, so let me ask you, besides like a quality control issue, so let's say you get a guitar that has a wacky fret, right? Or you have something, are you going to send it? I'm telling you, you should send it back. But do you need a warranty for longer than a year on a guitar? Or do you need a warranty at all outside of the 30 days or whatever? You get the guitar, it sucks, you send it back. You get the guitar, it's fine. And then a year from now, something goofs up and you just replace a pot or whatever. Does anybody treat playing guitar like a warranty on a car or a tool or something else like a screwdriver, where you're depending on that vacuum cleaner, microwave, blender, where you've got this thing for a few years and you're depending on that warranty in case it fails? If you're that person, you might find value in this. My guess is that most of the folks that you and I are hanging out with don't care about this. The other thing is that I'm wondering, because of the flood of used stuff coming into the market, if this is a way to try to inject some brand value into the used market because it's so saturated with stuff. And I wonder if that is the real reason. I wonder if the market is so saturated with a bunch of Fenders that they're trying to figure out a marketing speak way to inject some, like, you should buy used Fenders. You should buy used Fenders, not used something else. I don't know. It's smart in one sense. I just don't understand. To a beginning guitar player, which this is probably what this is marketed towards, it sort of makes sense. If you look on the very high level consumer side of life, the person who reads consumer reports to decide, what toaster oven to get, that person may find value in this. But the person who does internet research for themselves, the person who goes on YouTube and watches a bunch of videos about toaster ovens, who watches a bunch of videos about microwaves or whatever it is, and does their own research and spends some time on Reddit and does their own research, is not that same person. So they probably won't find value in this. So I don't know. This is an interesting one. I wonder, I just don't know what this means. Interesting thing. If it's something that will be Yeah, interesting thing. Anyway, okay. So the other big news that we shared in the thumbnail is that Randall Smith has left Gibson, i.e., Mesa Boogie. Mesa Boogie was purchased by Gibson in 2021, and everybody said that they've ruined it, whatever. And now Randy has left. So it's interesting that there will be a lot of comments super negative about this, that all of a sudden they're going to be crap. You're going to want a pre-Randy leaving Mesa because all the ones after that are crap, which is probably not true at all. So, obviously he started this company, but what would you have him do? He had to leave at some point. He's an old man, right? He's an old guy who wants to golf, or I don't know, grow weed in his basement. I don't know, whatever old amp gurus do, he wants to do whatever that is. I don't know. Autocross a Volkswagen Golf? I don't know. Shine his New Balances in his Corvette? I'm not sure. We know he's loaded because Gibson bought him. So we know he's loaded. So he's going to go on some vacations. He's going to hang out with some grandkids. He's going to do whatever. So what would you have him do? That doesn't necessarily mean that the brand's going to be ruined, right? It's just going to evolve into the next thing. And they can take an amp that they're already making and then just keep making it. It doesn't really change that much, right? So I don't really know. Cesar says that Randy's DNA will always be present, and over the last few decades, he has trained the new generation of designers that have been leading the way for Gibson and Mesa Boogie. As we evolve our Gibson amps collection, including our Gibson and Mesa Boogie brands, Randy and his original ideas will continue to inspire us to make the best and high-quality amps we've ever made. That kind of sounds like an Apple thing. This is the best iPhone ever. Well, because it's new. You're not going to make a worse one. So yeah, I get it. I think it's cool. I'm glad that he's going to go off and do whatever he's going to do. And I don't think it's going to ruin the brand at all. There's going to be a lot of folks that are going to make something out of this that's nothing. But, super cool that he is doing that. Let's see here. I'm going to go through the comments. Evolve into China. A lot of this stuff's made overseas already anyway. That's the thing. I mean, everything's made in China. I know that there are amps that aren't, but here's the thing. Okay. Folks who complain about where something is made, I've watched this. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's kind of understanding what's going on in the comments, okay? So I pay attention. People don't realize that I pay attention. I do. So you'll have Phil Bob, the church bus driver, 495, okay, or whatever his name is, will say one week, well, everything's just going to be made in China. And then the very next week, we'll post a video about a Texas Toast guitar that's $1,500. Well, that's too expensive, and this is just overpriced crap, or whatever it is, right? Like whatever brand it is. So if you're not willing to pay, you're not the guy anyway. You're not that customer. If you're not the customer or the person who, if you're not the customer or the person who's going to buy the thing, just shut up. It's not about you. It's about the person who's actually going to buy it. You weren't going to buy it anyway. So there is that. All right. Well, that's it. I don't really have a whole lot. That was it. There was not a lot of news this week. Little commentary to go with it. I didn't even take a sip of my drink. It's said that he was fired. Yeah, people are going to make all kinds of stuff up. Nobody really knows the story. Who cares? Who cares? Hey, everybody. Hey, Chris Hendricks, you're here. Did you notice that on this Texas Toast Pinup Girl guitar shirt that I'm wearing, your guitar is on this shirt? It's the green Challenger. Any chance you saw the ES the ES Supremes? We talked about those a little bit last week, actually. I'll tell you what, let's real quick before we go. Let me just make sure that I don't have a conflicting issue here. 1 second. Okay, no, we're good. Let's just real quick look on the one of the things I like to do too, and I didn't get a chance to do this ahead of time, was just go to the What's New page on Sweetwater and just see what there is. And we'll just take a quick scroll really quick. For those of you that are not into this, that's totally fine. You can dip out now if you want. It's no big deal. We talked last week about the Supreme Koa Top Les Paul. We did not talk about this Ibanez that's on pre-order. That's pretty stinking cool. Pre-order Boss Katana Artist Gen 3. Those have been updated. I did know about that. And a pre-order in Faded Black, the Silver Sky. That's a cool color. That is a cool color. Let's check this thing out. Player 2. A lot of people wanted to ask me about these Player 2 things and what I thought of them. I think they're bold new graphics. There's nothing really cool about them. I mean, they're cool. Buy one. If you want one, get one. They're awesome. But there's nothing like groundbreaking about them. They didn't, from Player to Player 2. I just don't like throw your Player 1 in the trash and go get a Player 2. I don't think there's any reason for that. They're not. Again, this is Fender marketing, in my opinion. And then we did. Let's see. That's already old. That's old. Okay, so we're off into old stuff that's not pre-order only. But yes, they do have these Supreme Koas, and then they also have the 335. I don't know if they have the photo of that. That thing's $4,400. If you're into Koa, I guess that's cool. Koa's expensive. It really is expensive. If you're wondering why that guitar costs so much, it's very expensive for that guitar. So, all right, man. This is killer. Let me just go through the comments real quick, make sure we didn't miss anything. And that's it. You guys, thanks for hanging out. We will see you tomorrow for the next video.